Yeah, get there. I'll see you up there.
Yeah, for sure. Who's on the middle?
He told me he was going to come. He never showed up, huh?
All right, let's get this meeting started. My name's Liz, and I'm an alcoholic. Please join me in the Serenity Prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. All right. Welcome to the Tuesday night alumni speaker meeting. Who is it their first time here at our meeting? No one's new. William, you haven't been here before? Oh, okay. Welcome. We do this every Tuesday night. If you can't make it, you can go on our website and either watch it live stream or you can see past speakers that we've had. Tonight we are doing NA, and I just want to remind people, when people are up at the podium reading or speaking, you should not. Okay, is that your clue? Thank you. Let's go around the room and introduce ourselves, starting on my right. Go ahead, Grant. Nancy bailed.
Grant, Attic.
Grant.
Nancy Attic.
Nancy.
Hamid Attic.
Hamid.
Alfie, Attic.
Alfie.
My family and my name Ben.
Ben.
Glenn, Attic.
Glenn.
Brandon Recovered Alcoholic Addict.
Brandon.
Christopher Attic.
Chris.
Scott Attic.
Scott. Billy. Robert. Anthony. William. Jeremy. George. Bree. Alejandra. Albert. Eddie. Chris. Harry. Sam. Jante. Lester. Jamal. Brandy. Zach. Chris. Clyde. Raul. Summer. Roxy. Maria. Michael. Henny,
Joe Addict.
Joe,
Enrique Eric.
Enrique, Nathaniel,
Chris Addict.
Chris,
Luis Addict.
Luis,
David, addict.
David,
Rudy, addict.
Rudy.
George, alcoholic.
George,
Michael, addict.
Michael. And I'm Liz. I'm still an alcoholic. Let's give ourselves a round of applause. All right. We kindly ask for you to make this a good experience for all who wish to hear the message. I already reminded you about not speaking while someone's at the podium or while they're doing the readings. During the break, feel free to help yourself to coffee, snacks, and water. I've asked Ben to come on up and read what is the NA program.
Ben Sherman.
Mr. Smith.
No, just kidding. Hi. Hi, family. I'm an addict. My name's Ben. NA is a nonprofit fellowship society of men and women who have drugs, or for whom drugs become a major problem. We're recovering addicts who help meet regularly to help. Let me start over. NA is a nonprofit fellowship or society of men and women for whom drugs become a major problem. We are recovering addicts who meet regularly to help each other stay clean. This is a program of complete abstinence from all drugs. There is only one requirement for membership: the desire to stop using. We suggest that you keep an open mind and give yourself a break. Our program has a set of principles written so simply that we can follow them in our daily lives. The most important thing about them is that they work. There are no strings attached to NA. We are not affiliated with any other organizations. We had no initiation fees, dues, no pledges signed, no promise to anything to anyone. We're not connected with any political, religious, or law enforcement groups, and under no surveillance at any time. Anyone may join us regardless of age, race, sexual identity, creed, religion, or lack of religion. We are not interested in how much you used or who your connections were, what you have done in the past, how much or how little you have, but only what you want to do about your problem and how we can help. The newcomer is the most important person at any meeting because we only keep what we have by giving it away. We have learned from our group experience that those who keep coming to our meetings regularly stay clean.
All right, thank you, Ben. And we have Jamal come on up and read why we are here.
Jamel.
Hi, I'm Jamal and I'm an addict.
Hi, Jamal.
Why are we here? Before coming to the fellowship of NA, we could not manage our own lives. We could not live and enjoy life as other people do. We had to have something different, and we thought we had found it in drugs. We placed their use ahead of our welfare and our families, our wives, our husbands, and our children. We had to have drugs at all costs. We did many people great harm, but most of all, we harmed ourselves. Through our inability to accept personal responsibilities, we were actually creating our own problems. We seemed to be incapable of facing life on its own terms. Most of us realized that in our addiction, we slowly committed suicide, but addiction is such a cunning enemy of life that we had lost the power to do anything about it. Many of us ended in jails or sought help through medicine, religion, or psychiatry. None of these methods was sufficient for us. Our disease always resurfaced or continued to progress until in desperation we sought help from each other in Narcotics Anonymous. After coming to NA, we realized we were sick people. We suffer from a disease from which there is no known cure. It can, however, be arrested at some point, and recovery is then possible. Thank you.
Wayne Brady. Mr. Brady.
Thank you. And Lester, come on up and read how it works.
Lester.
Mo.
Lester.
I'm Lester and I'm alcoholic. If you, how it works. If you want what we have to offer and are willing to make the effort to get it, then you are ready to take certain steps. These are the principles that made our recovery possible. We admitted that we are powerless over our addiction and our lives have become unmanageable. We came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. We made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. We made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. We admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. We are entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. We humbly asked Him to remove our shortcomings. We made a list of all persons we've harmed and become willing to make amends to all. We make direct amends to people whenever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. We continue to take a personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. We sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. Having a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to addicts and to practice these principles in all our affairs. This sounds like a big order, and we can't do it all at once. We didn't become addicted in one day, so remember, easy does it.
All right. Thanks, Lester. And while we observe the 7th tradition, I've asked Bill to come on up and read the 12 traditions of NA. And Clyde's going to pass the basket.
Don't forget it's a piece of
I'm Bill, I'm an addict. Okay, number 1, our common welfare should come first. Personal recovery depends on NA unity. 2, for our group purpose, there is but one ultimate authority, a loving God, as He may express Himself in our group conscience. Our leaders are but trusted servants, they do not govern. 3, the only requirement for AA membership, or for AA, the only requirement for membership is a desire to stop using. 4, each group should be autonomous except in matters affecting other groups, or NA as a whole. 5, each group has but one primary purpose, to carry the message to the addict who still suffers. 6, an NA group ought never endorse, finance, or lend the NA name to any related facility or outside enterprise, lest problems of money, property, or prestige divert us from our primary purpose. 7, every NA group ought to be fully self-supporting, declining outside contributions. 8, Narcotics Anonymous should remain forever non-professional, but our service centers may employ special workers. 9, NA as such ought never be organized, but we may create a service boards or committees directly responsible to those they serve. 10, Narcotics Anonymous has no opinion on outside issues, hence the NA name ought never be drawn into public controversy. 11, our public relations policy is based on traction rather than promotion. We need always maintain personal anonymity at the level of press, radio, and films. 12, anonymity is the spiritual foundation of all our traditions, ever reminding us to place principles before personalities.
Thanks, Bill. All right. So the format for this meeting is we're going to have a 10-minute speaker, then we'll take a 10-minute break, then we'll have our main speaker followed by chips, and then hopefully an opportunity for sharing. So I'd like to introduce our 10-minute speaker tonight. Luis, come on up.
Fluffy.
You got this, honey.
Luis Addict. Thank you, Nancy. Man, you put me on the spot.
Raul's going to be your timer. He'll give you a 2-minute warning.
Hey, I know you.
I know you too, bro. Luis Addict. You know, I'm thankful for being here at Fred Brown. You know, it has taught me a lot of things, different things, I think. Well, let me start out when I was a kid. You know, I grew up in a home with my mom and my dad. You know, they were always around. My dad was a hard worker. He worked at Hollywood Park Casino. I was born in Torrance, California, in 1990. Yeah, my mom would work sometimes, but you know, we were poor all the time. You know, we didn't have that much as other people did, but we always had a happy home. You know, eventually my dad, he got injured at work. You know, so he wasn't working. You know, he got hit by a horse, so there were really rough times. You know, we would use each other's shoes, clothes. You know, sometimes they'll make fun of us at school, but, you know, it wasn't that much of a big deal. So my dad started throwing out yard sales, so we used to go dumpster dive. I used to go with him all the time. I used to love being with my dad. You know, shit. You know, I wouldn't know what to do without him. You know, he's getting old, you know. Yeah, and it sucks, knowing that one day he's not gonna be here. We used to dumpster dive. Used to throw yard sales every Saturday. That's how we made ends meet. My mom would work sometimes, but it was hard. In 2001 or 2002, our house burned down. It was really hard. I was the last one to make it out. The house was burning. I went back inside, called 911 like a dumbass all the way to the back. Grabbed the phone. The phone was already dead. When I ran out, everything was in flames all over. I could feel the heat. The whole porch, everything was on fire. It was something hard to go through. I was like 11 years old. Thankfully the Red Cross helped us out. They helped us out with vouchers, staying in hotels. We stayed in hotels for like 3-4 months. They helped us out with clothes, furniture, everything. We ended up finding an apartment, a 1-bedroom apartment for 8 of us. It was 8 of us. I have 3 brothers and 2 sisters. We're all crammed up in a small place, but we made it work all the time. Shit, where's the fucking yeah. Eventually I moved out. No, wait, I had my son. I met my baby mama in high school. First love, everything's great. You know how that is. I had my kid in 2009. He's 16 years old now. He's probably like this tall. The love of my life. I have, but it's always been good. We moved out. Me and my baby mom moved out. I had my own place. I was a hard worker. I was working 12 hours a day, forklift driver, graveyard shift, and I was going to school. I was studying to become an automotive technician. I love cars. I love working on cars. It will help me out a lot of that trauma I went through when I was a kid. The house burning, us being poor, sometimes being bullied. It gave me it gave me something so I could do to stay busy. But I also had my job, my son. My son's name's Nathan. It was all good, but at that time when I moved out, I started using crystal meth, and shit just went to hell, bro. Like, it was all bad. I moved out. I stayed moved out for like 5 months, and then I got fired. My baby mama left me. I got home one day. The whole house was empty. Nothing was there. She just left me my pillow, a blanket, and my clothes. Man, I went hard in depression at that time. I started drinking every day. I stopped going to work. I lost my job. My truck got fucked up the next week. I was in a lot of pain. Sometimes that pain is unbearable. You just don't want to deal with it. So you just go to drugs. Family's always there trying to help out, but you block them out. And that's when we all go wrong. So I was kind of suicidal, but that would probably be because I was drunk. I wanted to jump out the window. I still live in 3rd story. I wanted to jump out the window. I just wanted all that pain to go away. So eventually I moved out back with my parents, and I was still on the same shit, doing the same shit, just drinking, smoking, crystal meth. I tried other drugs, but I didn't like them. Later on, say I was like 27, I started going to jail. I started stealing. I started stealing anything I could, people, cars, warehouses. I used to make good money off doing it. I also had my job. I work as a welder, but as fast as I made money, it would go quick, real quick. Eventually I started going to jail. I was still alone. I didn't have no partner. I couldn't maintain a relationship with anybody. It was difficult, but I got used to it after a while. In 2000, I had a car accident. I drank that day. I was sober for 3 years. I think from 2019 to 2022, I stayed sober. But in 2020, I drank that day. I drank a little too much, and at work, I got dropped off at home, and then I got the idea of getting in my truck. Saw this dude I didn't like, so I was gonna chase him down. I don't know what I was gonna do to him. But eventually I crashed into a wall going like 60 miles per hour. You know, I woke up after I crashed. I woke up and I heard the sirens. And I was trying to get out of my truck and I couldn't open the door. On the driver's side, my arm was broken. Then some guy came next to me. He was like, don't move. You're all jacked up. You're all fucked up. And I was like, well, homie, I gotta go. I could hear the sirens. You know, I was scared of going to jail, getting DUI. So I told him, move out the way. So I just scooted over to the side. I hopped out the truck and boom, I just landed right there. I had a broken pelvis as well. So, you know, after that, I was going in and out of consciousness. And then I remember just seeing the light, bro. I thought I was leaving this earth. It's like being in a cloud and it's just all white and you feel so light. You know, but I guess it just wasn't my time. It just wasn't my time. You know, I ended up getting a shattered pelvis, so I got plates. I got plates in my pelvis. I got screws in my arm, a bar. I fractured ribs, fractured 2 feet, and I had a big ass gash right here. I was able to put my finger through my lip. You know, I'm grateful that day that I made it because I just saw things a little bit more different. You know, I got closer to my higher power, which I felt like he abandoned me for a long time. You know, but it was just me who abandoned him. Just being in that depression that I had, using drugs, it just wasn't, you know, a good place to be at, and I just lost my connection with him. Yeah. Already? Yeah, so a year ago, I ended up being in a stolen car, and no. 3 days before that, I lost a person real close to me. It was my uncle Chuy. Rest in peace. He died on May 4th, 2024. You know, he had beat cancer once, and then he got it back again. You know, this time it was aggressive. He didn't make it. He was in hospice. I was at my dad's house for like a week or two. You know, he was just dying there. You know, it was just something hard to see. You know, 4 days later, I ended up going to jail. So I missed his funeral. That's one of the hardest things that I can't forgive myself because I wasn't there for his funeral. It was real hard, you know. He was an uncle that he always go to the house every weekend. We'll watch football, soccer. Even though he didn't understand football, he'll be like, "Oh, ¿qué es eso? ¿Qué es eso?" Oh, you know, I'll tell him. You know, it was cool. We watched soccer, baseball. They love baseball. You know, it was cool, but it sucks losing him and then being in jail during his funeral. You know, the one thing when he was getting buried, they were like in jail. They were like church call. So I was in church while being incarcerated while he was getting buried. So it was kind of, you know, it was kind of cool that I was able to be right there, you know, praying for him. Yeah. So you know, they were trying to offer me 4 years. Or coming here to Fred Brown, and they have offered it before, but I was like, I don't need this shit. I don't need to go to rehab. But you know, this time I took it, you know, and I'm glad I did. You know, I got to meet good people, the staff. You know, 14th Street, all right. You know, the staff. Thank you guys. You know, I have learned a lot. You know, now I'm trying my best. Oh yeah. That's my boyfriend, but I'm not gay, all right? Yep. All right, thank you guys for letting me share.
Thanks, Luis. Did you graduate already, or is it tomorrow?
So next month.
Oh, next month. You got a little bit of time, right? Not trying to weasel out early. Okay, cool. I appreciate that when you come into this room, you're always of service, you're super respectful, so I'm hoping that you can take those transferable skills out with you when you finish and, you know, continue to help your brothers while you're in here. So, well done. Let's give Luis another round of applause. All right, let's take a 10-minute break.
10-minute break, guys.
Fluffy. You got up there and spoke. Yeah, I can't do it. anybody that's a parent, even if I don't want to help, whatever the fuck it is, moving and shit on the dark, whatever, or living in things, is to help senior citizens allow them to be able to help their grandmas for kids. Do something in front of them. Yeah. Everything that makes
She's on. No. I got cord up there.
I looked up on my thing and it said Fresno. He wrote something about Fresno and I was like,
Yeah, oh, yeah. I'm in the trial right now in Fresno. Yeah. No shit, man. I'm trying to get my motorcycle back. I got my motorcycle up there. So every time I go up there, I'll stay right down to Larry Street.
Nancy coming in? All right, let's start the second half of the meeting with the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. All right, now I'd like to introduce our main speaker. Let's give him a Fred Brown round of applause for John. Come on up.
Oh yeah, you're gonna hear it. Hello everybody, my name is John and I'm an addict. First off, I'd like to thank my higher power for allowing me to open my eyes this morning. And I'd like to thank Fred Brown because this is where I really started my recovery. So I'll share what it was like, what happened, and what it's like today. So I grew up here in San Pedro. I was raised by my mom. My dad was in the picture, but probably not as much as he needed to be or as much as I wanted him to be. And I think that's kind of where that hole started, or where I kind of felt different or not normal. So I had a normal childhood. My mom raised me good. She put me through sports. I had pretty good grades in elementary school, and then it wasn't until the start of middle school. It was that summer. I was with one of my friends, and we were just bored. And one day, my dad grew weed, so we had a bright idea. We were like, man, let's go in the backyard, pick some wet buds, and smoke it on a soda can, because he figured he seen his brother do it or something. So we did that, and I didn't feel it at first, but I remember when I stood up, it all hit me at once, and I was like, whoa, this is something. I like this feeling. I like feeling not sober, getting out of myself, feeling different, So that became a thing all throughout middle school. And, at the time I was like, oh, I'm just a kid. I'm just a pothead having fun, Then I got to high school, and my disease kind of escalated, or it kind of grew into something else. I started messing around with Xanax, hallucinogens, drinking a lot. And once again, I just thought, all right, I'm becoming an adult. I'm just experimenting. I'm partying. I'm just finding out who I am. And it wasn't really a problem, and then when I'd see people strung out on heroin or meth, and I'm like, man, you'll never catch me doing that. That's for losers. That's for bums. And sure enough, a couple years later, I found myself sticking needles in my arm and doing all that bum stuff I said I'd never do. So got kicked out of high school over drugs, went to a continuation school, got my GED, graduated through that way. I had a job at the fish market, and that's when I kind of started getting addicted to cocaine. One of the bartenders there, he was the fish market guy. He worked behind the counter. He would sell me coke, and one day he wasn't there, so I hit up one of the bartenders, one of my friends, and I said, hey, where's so-and-so at? And he said, oh, he's not here today, man. And he seen me. He's like, man, you look kind of tired. You need something to pick you up. And I was like, why, you got some coke? And he was like, man, I don't have coke, but I got something that'll pick you up. And I was like, well, what is it? He's like, shit. And I was like, what is shit? And he's like, it's meth, methamphetamines. I was like, whoa. I was like, dang, that's hardcore. It'll pick me up though, How much is the smallest denomination I could buy? So I ended up getting a 5, and after that, I was done with coke, man. It was cheaper. It woke me up more, and I just kind of justified it, like, oh, if he holds a job and he could do it, then meth, I guess, ain't that bad, So I ended up getting fired from that job. I came back from a bathroom break. I was security. I came back from a bathroom break with a powder on my nose and a $100 bill rolled up behind my ear. Yeah, not the smartest addict. So they let me go, and at that time I wasn't really doing coke as much. I was more on the meth. I was just living at home. My mom kind of enabled me a lot. I just, didn't really try to get work. Had a connect move in with me, so he was supplying my habit until he wasn't living with me no more, and that's when I kind of had to go out and look for it. So I found myself down here by the post office, Tent City, a couple years back. And, I hate to say it was fun, It was wild down there. It was new, and it was messed up, man. I was staying in a tent, living in a tent before I had to. You know, I was homeless before I was actually homeless. So out there, you know, I met a girl. You know how that goes. She was doing heroin, so she introduced me to heroin. And at that point, like I said, I never do meth or I never do heroin, but you know, it all just kind of slowly escalated or got worse, you know, so all that became acceptable. So before you know it, I was sticking needles in my arm and doing a bunch of crazy stuff to keep my high going, you know, stealing from stores, and it was just all bad, man. I went to my first treatment center. It was a private pay. It was really nice, you know, catered and just all the amenities, you know, it was really nice, but I wasn't ready, you know, but that's a time where I realized, all right, I'm an addict. Like, I got a problem, you know. They kept telling me, like, John, you're an addict, you know, jail's institutions of death, and I related to that because I had died a couple times. I'd overdosed a couple times at that point. But there was more to come because I just wasn't ready, you know. A couple more years in and out of jail, a lot of jail and a lot of just misery, man. You know, due to my addictive behavior and all my little things I would do, my mom ended up getting evicted out of her house because of me. So she had to go live with her boyfriend. I wasn't really welcome. She still kind of supported me here and there, enabling me a little bit. And so that's when I found myself in the street, actually, like, living in a tent. And you know, I like to justify my addiction. You know, I always had somewhere to shower. I always made friends. I always made my connect my friends, so I'd like have it pretty good, you know. But it wasn't until, okay, so I was on heroin for a while, like 2 years, and you know, one day I was sick as a dog and everybody was out, nobody had anything, and I run into this one guy. Funny story, he actually saved my life. I think he's related to Fred Brown himself. He was anyway though, he said, I don't have any heroin, but I got something that'll get you well. And I was trying so hard, because this was when fentanyl was getting popular. I was trying so hard not to do fentanyl, but I was so sick and just desperate to feel better. I took it. He told me don't slam it, but I liked slamming, so I smoked a little bit. I was like, damn, this is good. I slammed and I overdosed, and after that, I was just like, heroin didn't do it for me, so I was on fentanyl for like 3 more years after that. So my opiate usage was for about 5 years. It wasn't until I went to jail one time that some of the homies in there kind of talked to me like, John, what are you doing with your life? I was 25 at the time. They're like, you're 25, you know, you got this opportunity, that opportunity, you got a family that loves you. Like, what are you doing wasting your time and energy chasing a drug that when you get it, you just waste more time and energy, or time and energy just nodding off. So I got out that time and tried to stay clean for like a day or two, and then I ended up accidentally smoking some weed because I needed a cigarette, but the guy had a joint, so I was just, oops. And then I was like, well, you know what? I smoked weed. I might as well just go back to meth. So I did meth for a little bit. But during this time, that's when I met my baby's mother, and she was on fentanyl, but she was surprised that I could stay clean, it being around me. But I was just done at that point. I knew I would die if I got high again off that, you know, so that kind of scared me away. But I was still doing meth and everything else. Went to the jail again on a violation. My probation officer wanted me to do a program, and you know, jail didn't really scare me at that point. My first program was because probation wanted me to go, but after that one, it was like catch me when you can, because jail didn't scare me anymore. So after that time in jail, got back out, was with my girl, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna smoke weed and drink alcohol because my probation is cool with that. It wasn't before long that I found myself smoking crack and crystal again, and it was a real eye-opener one time, because I would quit a couple days before to go check in and drug test, but it was a real eye-opener when one morning I got into a fight with her, and I couldn't help myself smoking crack. I was in the bathroom smoking crack, thinking to myself, like, why am I doing this? You know, I can't not do it. Like, it's here, and I have it, and I can't just wait till I go check in. Like, I have to smoke right now. And that was like another real eye-opener. I was on the run for a little while after that. And then my girl, okay, so this is when my girl went to jail. So my girl ended up going to jail, and man, it was crazy because she goes to jail, and she doesn't know my phone number. I don't even think I had a phone at the time. So I'm back smoking crystal. I see my buddy at the liquor store up the street here, and I'm like, hey man, I need an 8-ball. I was being homeless at the beach. I lost my motel room. So he's joking around with me. He's like, oh man, hey, congratulations. And he jokes around a lot, so I didn't know what he meant. He's like, congratulations, I'm gonna buy you a cigar. And it flew over my head because I didn't understand that. And so he's out of the store. They didn't have cigars or something. So we end up, we're right here at this bench, the first little bench right there. And he's like, yeah, man, sorry they didn't have any cigars, brother. And I'm like, why you keep saying like they didn't have cigars? He's like, cause you're gonna be a dad. And I was like, what the fuck, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, Amber's dad called the motel that you're staying at looking for you. Amber's pregnant. They found out she was 2 months pregnant while she was in jail. And he jokes around a lot, so I was like, man, quit playing around. He's like, no, I'm dead serious. And it all hit me at once, like, wow, I'm about to be a dad. You know, I was sitting right there at that bench thinking, like, I can't go on like this, you know. That's when I found the desire to get clean. Like, I know I couldn't go on like that because, you know, I can go on, like, ruining my life, and I was cool with that. Like, I knew I was an addict. Like, dying an addict was okay with me. It was just a part of my addict life, and I was okay with that. So, but having a kid brought into, like, I'm bringing a kid into this world. Like, I had my perception on life changed. Like, it's not fair to bring somebody in this world and let them get lost to the system because I want to keep destroying my life, you know. So that's when I made the choice to check myself in at Fred Brown. I have a clean date of January 8th, 2024, and thank you. There were some hiccups between, and I don't say hiccups like I picked up and used, because honest to God, me and God know I didn't pick up and use, but falling back on old behavior. I wanted to be around my baby mama every time I got out to sober living, and every time, man, the first day, it was the first time at Abel's house. It was the first day I was out, man. I went to the motel. We're kicking. We're having fun. We're doing, you know, doing the do, and I come back and Abel's like, all right, you ready to test? And I was all confident, like, fuck yeah, let's go test, man. I got this. And he sits me down. He's like, hey, man, come to my room real quick. And I was like, oh, what the hell? So she was hotboxing or through sex. I got a positive test, and they were like, man, you got something to tell me? And I was like, well, yeah, I was around my baby mama, but I didn't pick up. And he's like, they didn't believe me, so they sent me to another program in Long Beach. You guys might know it, but I didn't learn my lesson. You know, 35 days later, I come back to sober living here at Fred Brown, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna set some boundaries, and I'm gonna stick to them. I'm gonna wear a condom this time. I'm not gonna let her smoke around me, you know? And that worked for a little while, like I'd say like maybe 2 months. 2 months later, I was at Freddie's house, and Freddie said, all right, UA, and it was no big deal. I was kind of confident because it had been a couple UAs that I passed. And then the second time, man, it happened again. He's like, hey, John, come here, I gotta talk to you, man. It's showing fentanyl again. And I was like, fuck, the same thing, man, you know? So that's when they sent me to 19th. So I've had the blessing to go to 19th and 14th, man, and I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for 19th, 14th, and Changing Spirits, man, because I met some great people along the way. You know, it's crazy, man. Like, the people I meet that I met in treatment are still my friends to this day, you know, and it's like a bond that you guys build as you're, you know, healing yourself at the same time, man. I like to think of it like getting into a car accident with somebody. You know, you guys go to the emergency room, you guys heal together, and you guys can laugh and talk about it later and stuff. But so I'm grateful for that, man. And I'm grateful for my higher power, man, because, you know, my codependency, my boundaries were kind of not the best, man. I seen, like, the last time I was in sober living, you know, I set up some stricter boundaries with my girl, but I could see myself falling back into that same pattern. And I didn't know what else to do, so I'd pray about it. Thank God, man, because she ended up getting arrested finally. You know, we had already had our daughter. She was born addicted. She was in the NIC unit, so DCFS got involved. you know, and that's been like another whole nother journey that I've just had to deal with. But it's doable, man. Now that I'm clean and I don't focus all my energy and time on getting drugs, like, man, the sky's the limit, and it really is, man. Finally she got arrested, and she's in jail. She's calling me, and she's like, all right, I'm ready, you know, and I understood wholeheartedly, because I used to be addicted to fentanyl, and it wasn't until I got busted and got out that I wanted to change or didn't go back to it. So I'm happy to say she finally completed her 90-day program. She's doing outpatient now, and we're both working on getting reunification. You know, I'm a little bit ahead of her. I've already started my overnights, and hopefully this next court hearing, I'll be getting her back on the 30th of May. And it's just a trip, man, because none of this was possible without Fred Brown, without starting to work the steps, and without the fellowship, man. Like I said, before having my daughter, I never really wanted this, but and Nancy knows, and Freddie knows too, man. Like, I was sitting on that detox porch, man, my first time around in treatment, and they seen it in my eyes, man. I wanted to leave, man. It was me, that wall, and going back to old habits, man, and it was just that easy, man. You know, so it don't matter. If you want recovery, you could do it anywhere, man. You just gotta stay connected and take suggestions, and just do what's asked of you, do what's told. You know, it hasn't been an easy journey. You know, life shows up, man. In October of last year, I lost my mom. She had COPD, and she didn't tell me. So I believe it was like a Thursday night. I was there. I was trying to help her. You know, her room was a mess, but she was having trouble breathing, and that's why I start saying, like, I thank my higher power for allowing me to open my eyes this morning, because life is precious, man. You never know when it's gonna be taken away, and when you're gonna have your last breath, man. The next morning, after helping her and seeing how bad she was, I went back. She gave me her key, and that was kind of weird. Like, she wouldn't give me her key usually. She gave me the key to get in, and I found her there dead, man. I found her dead, and I'm not gonna lie to you, my first instinct, it was in the motel I used to get high at. My first instinct was, fuck, I don't want to deal with this. I could get high right there, I could get high right there, and I could get high right there. But you know, I picked up one of those tools I learned in treatment. You know, I opened that toolbox, and I picked up that phone. I called my therapist, I called family, and got me through it. I went to a meeting that night. But life happens, man. You know, but thanks to this program, I've learned some things to help me get through whatever life throws at me, man. Like, even recently, I just completed a class for peer support specialists so I could start working here, and I've been waiting for my schedule, and then Changing Spirits told my housing case manager, like, hey, they're looking for a peer support specialist too. So I was like, all right, well, let me see what my schedule's like at Fred Brown. And that's when Fred Brown was like, yeah, because you're on probation still, we're having problems with billing and this and that. And you know, at first I was like kind of upset, kind of anxious, like, damn, you know, like, why me and all that. But you know what, like, once again, thanks to this program and the tools that I've learned, like, I've come to accept and just put my faith in my higher power that it's all gonna work out. And it has since, you know. I just did my first day today at 5:05, and it's cool. I'm just really excited and grateful that I get to work for or at the place that helped me get my life back in shape, man. And you know, it's cool, man. If you just keep doing what you're supposed to do, God's gonna bless you, man. You know, I don't say this to brag, but today I own 2 cars. I have my own apartment. You know, I'm employable, and all that material shit is good. But you know what? The most valuable thing that I've gotten out of this program is that inner peace, man. That self-worth. You know, today I could look in the mirror and really be proud of who I'm becoming. You know, today, before my life was just a shell of existence. You know, today my life has sustenance, man. It has direction, and I'm so happy I didn't leave, you know, give up. And there's a lot of cheesy sayings, man, when I first came into these rooms, I was like, man, all those cheesy sayings were so just like, ugh, you know, like it just bothered me. Don't leave before the miracle happens, and meeting makers make it. And I was like, all that shit is so just nonsense. But the longer I stuck around, all those start to make sense and hold true. You know, they're said for a reason. But yeah, man, the life I live today, man, a year ago it was beyond my comprehension, man. And I'm just grateful for my life today. It's amazing, and I never thought this would be possible. And it's all thanks to this program. It's all thanks to Fred Brown. It's all thanks to this fellowship, man. You know, and you could do it too. Everybody can. If you have the desire to stop using, and you're open to take suggestions and work some steps, man. And you can hold on to your seat. Just hold on to your seat, no matter what, man. So. While you're in treatment too, I suggest, you know, like make some friends, man. Like I said before, I have some friends today that still I talk to on a regular basis that I consider like family, you know. It's sad, but you know, if you don't work this program, and another thing too, don't count the days, make the days count. And that's especially true when you're in RBH. You know, a lot of people think, all right, I got 6 months, I still got 5 months. And before you know it, I've had a couple friends, man, they relapsed, you know, recently, and I'm grateful that I'm in a position today where I have an extra truck they can sleep in at night and not conflict with me going to work in the morning, and grateful that I can drive around Santa Monica trying to help my other friend find his car because he was on a sick one and forgot where he parked it, you know. But it's scary too at the same time because these guys had it, man. They really had it. Like you think they're working a solid program, and then, you know, they graduate, they don't have nowhere to go, and they fall right back to old behaviors. And it's just like a wake-up call for me too, man, because I know the type of addict I am. I'm not just gonna lose my car, I'm gonna destroy it. You know, I'm not gonna lose my house, I'm gonna probably lose my life, man, and lose my daughter and everything I've worked so hard to get, you know. But yeah, man, if you guys are new, just give yourself a chance, man. I'm glad I stayed, man. You know, like that cheesy saying, don't leave before the miracle happens. You know, it's all happening, man. And that's another thing too, is find a higher power and realize that it's on his time. You know, we're addicts, we want everything right now, that instant gratification. But it's not really, you're not in control no more. You just got to give it to God and just do the next suggested thing and work this program, and it'll all happen. What else? Huh? Okay, yeah, that should have been earlier in the thing, but I have this famous saying, you know, I say it at meetings a lot, you know, before coming into the program, I thought I came in on a winning streak, you know. I owned beachfront property, I owned and ran my own business, and I lived a completely free life. But after staying for a while and learning about myself, I found out that beachfront property was actually a tent overlooking the harbor. Hold on, it gets better, it gets better. The business I thought I was running and owning was actually stealing from stores, selling it for half price, you know, feeling like I'm doing a service to the community, you know. And that complete free lifestyle that I thought I was living was actually a sick bondage to a disease, man. And but I've learned, you know, what did they say? I've discovered, and discarded some of those things, some of that stinking thinking since then, you know. And I've learned who I am, what I like in life, where I want to go, you know. And another thing too, man, and I'm forever grateful for this, man. I had a once a month meeting with my DCFS social worker, and once again, all thanks to this program, man. I can't stress that enough, man. The sky's the limit. But so I was sitting in my one-on-one, and she said, you know, what are some short-term and long-term goals you've set for yourself? And it took me a minute, and I was drawing a blank, and I couldn't come up with anything because the goals I set when I first came into treatment, I've accomplished, you know. So it's time to set some new ones. So like I said, man, just give yourself a chance, man. This shit does work if you work it, man. It's not for people who need it or who want it. It's for people who do it, you know. And it's doable, man. You just got to surrender, you know. And, you know, since I first came into treatment, I for the most part, my obsession to use has been lifted. And don't get me wrong, my disease still comes back every once in a while and gives me a bright idea. But once again, I used one of those tools I've learned. You know, I play that tape through because I know the type of addict I am. It's once I get one, it's not long before I'm back in my waterfront property, you know. Or worse, man. I don't know if I have one in me, man. I really don't. Seeing my buddy relapse, it was bad. I think mine would be so much worse. But yeah, man, I'm just thankful and grateful to be a part of Fred Brown, man. This is a really great program, man. It's I'm just grateful, like, life has happened for me the way it has, man, and how everything's turning out. That's all I really think I got. You know, I'm sure I got 5 minutes. Okay, so I did 25. That's good enough. You know, and then when I stop, I'm gonna be like, damn, I should have said this and I should have said that. But you know what? I'm gonna just leave it with this, though, man. Give yourself a chance, man. This really does work if you work it, man. My name is John, and thank you for letting me share.
Let's give John another round of applause. I think, like, one of the coolest gifts that I've been given from this program is to change my perception. Like, John, I wouldn't have put you as somebody working for us when you first came in, or even the second time. But even when we were chatting before the meeting and just seeing, you know, with definitely the blessings that have come true in your life, and that you're able to be a service to a program that's given you so much, and you know, your whole personality has changed for the better, and I think that's amazing. I mean, to be able to witness it and see it, and then, you know, with being part of a new program that we're launching here at Fred Brown, just how many people that you're going to be able to inspire and encourage and help others, and when they're having bad days, you'll be the ones to carry them through. So I'm super happy that you're with us, and, you know, extremely grateful. So thank you. Let's give John another round of applause. All right, time for celebration. Come on up, Michael.
What's up, guys? My name's Michael. I'm an alcoholic addict. I'm also your chip chick at this meeting. Here at Fred Brown Recovery Services, we'd like to celebrate various lengths of sobriety, starting with the most important person in the room, the newcomer. With anyone with 29 days or less, like to come up and get a chip.
Felipe addict.
Jeremy alcoholic.
Jeremy.
Bill alcoholic.
Bill.
Bill.
Daniel.
Carrie.
Gary.
Will alcoholic.
Will. Get down, Will.
All right.
Good job, guys. Welcome.
All right. Anyone with 30 days?
Yeah.
Anyone with 60 days?
Jamal addict.
Jamal.
Wayne Brady.
Scott addict.
Anyone with 90 days?
Next week.
Next week? All right, see you then. Anyone with 6 months? 6 months. What about 9 months? 18 months. It's the Weiner chip for anyone who doesn't know. All right, we also celebrate birthdays at this meeting, but it's at the end of every month, so please get with the meeting secretary if you'd like to get your birthday celebrated here. With everyone with a year or more, please raise your hand. Just goes to show that this program does work. Thanks for letting me be of service.
All right, just a couple of housekeeping. Today we collected $25.50, which goes into our pot. We have $193.10. Next week we will have pizza. So don't forget, celebrating birthdays with the Italian way with pizza. Or American way, whichever you want to cut it. It's gonna be the Costco way. So we're gonna try Costco pizza this time because I think we'll get a bigger bang for our buck. Might be a little colder, but we're willing to travel the extra 10 miles, 15 miles for you guys. Nancy will road dog it with me. So we have the court cards are up here, and now the mic's open. Who's gonna come on and kick us off? Come on, don't all jump at once. Rudy, come on up. Tell us how you did it.
Oh, hello everyone. Well, my name is Rudy and I'm an addict. I just got here on the 18th of last month and I'm here because court ordered it. You know, I don't think I have a drug problem, but I'm finding it, okay? And I'm accepting it. You know, so I just want to thank Fred Brown for this opportunity. At first I was like, fuck it, I'm going to give the court what they want. You know, I think I'm that type of guy. You know, I know it all, but I'm learning here. These guys are teaching me a lot, the staff as well, and I just want to say I'm going to take advantage of this situation. You know, it could be my last one, you know. I could end up dead or in jail for the rest of my life, so I think it's time for me to get serious, you know, and I'm not gonna waste this chance, you know. It's my first time here and I wanna make it my last. I see it does work. There's a lot of people that I can see as examples that they take it serious, and that's what I'm doing, you know, and that's all I got to say so far. Hopefully I'll talk to you guys later down the line. Thank you.
My name's Alfie. I'm an addict, alcoholic, tired, worn out. And but your story, brother, you're right there, yeah. That helps me, man. I just found out my kid, he's not a kid, he's 6'5", 305 pounds. He's in a motorcycle, he's a dickhead, but I love him. He just got in a shootout with the cops. And I'm doing everything I can to hold on, because I want to go. I want to go save him. You know what I mean? But if I do that, I'm gonna blow everything else, man. You know what I mean? And I mean, you're grown, motherfucker. Well, I'm sorry. No, really, man. I mean, he's grown. And as bad as I want to go, because he'll always be my baby. With the help of some of these brothers here and the staff and Nancy and a lot of people, man, especially that brother just left him up here. Finding your mother dead, man, I'm sorry. My condolences. But if you can push through that, man, I can. And I got him stashed out. He's hid out good. But I don't want to keep him stashed out. I can't keep. You can't hide forever, man. You know, you can't. He was already facing 20 years, and then you go shoot at the police. So he's done, and there's nothing that I can do, man. And I want to go so bad. I do. Who wouldn't want to go? You know, but I can't. Because I have other family, I have other kids. And I don't know what to do. You know what I mean? But I know I'm not going nowhere. I want to. But I've always ran from myself. I'm the best running son of a bitch you've ever seen. You know what I mean? But I can't run from me, man. That's right. You know what I mean? I can't run from me. You know, once I get there, what am I going to do, man? Get in a shootout with you? Save you? I can't save you. I'm trying to save me. So I can, you know, and I'm getting older and I've destroyed myself and my health with this, my lifestyle, you know? And thank Fred Brown for what they've done, man. They've taken me back for the third time. And I'm still an old grumpy bastard sometimes. And I don't mean to be, you know, but that's it. I'm working on it, guys. And I do get ill-tempered and what is that? Discontent. restless and all that shit. You think I've been holding on to that seat right there, for dear life. You know, because if I go, I know I'm going to blow it. And I can't do him any good at all. You know, and he's gone. When they catch him, and they'll catch him, it's like that carnival thing. Pop your head up, bink, 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 because you can be popping that head up. And they're going to be on him. You shot at the police, you dumbass. And, but I can't do nothing. And I want to thank everybody that puts up my garbage. Thank you again, Roxy, for having me back again. But if I can do this, man, and sit here and go through this and put up with all the shit, put up with my shit, people put up with my shit, I'm not going to go. I'm staying because I'm tired. I've done worn myself out. I have. And I keep beating myself up. You know what I mean? We got to forgive ourselves. But I created that little dickhead. I did. I exposed him to everything and subjected him to everything he's doing right now. So how am I going to step in and go, I can't. You can't. And you know what's I gonna look at? What am I gonna look like? What are you doing? Doing what you did. You know what I mean? If I would have known now, then what I know now, I would have never took my kid around that. But that's where he's at, and there's nothing I can do. And everybody, thank you. And yeah, if you see me sitting alone or get into my own head, come yank my ass out. I don't give a damn who you are. Just be gentle and we can be fragile. I'm really getting old and I'm kind of fragile.
Good job,
Just want to say thank you to everybody.
Who are you, darling?
My name is Gino and I am an addict.
That's my roommate.
My name is Eugene. Gino is a prison name that I have. I just didn't want to go by my own name. And when I started some programs in there, I wanted to be identified as Gino because I felt content with it. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. Doing 40 years in prison, actually 34. The rest of it was on the installment plan. I've sat there and listened to countless stories. But it's amazing. I've gone in front of the board 18 times. So imagine doing Fred Brown 18 times. I'm talking about the paperwork, the documentation, the education, the learning, the applying, everything, wholeheartedly. And that's what it took for me to get out of prison. But it's crazy. I had a dream one day when I was 18 years old. Came home stoned, wasn't doing nothing with my life, and I had a dream. It's crazy, it scares the crap out of me because I was in this room, looking at those Christmas lights, looking at those doors, and it was real. 18 years old. And then I come here, I'm 60 years old, and I walk in this room. And it's like, damn, I've been here before. Same thing at 19th Street. I walked into the bedroom, and the bedroom had a fireplace in there. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, damn, I've been here before. I know this. Never been there before in my life. My higher power, God, was talking to me. But the revelation of truth did not hit me until I came here 6 months ago. All those times going to the board, all those years being in prison, all the stuff that I learned, everything that I applied, programs I started, everything does not compare to what I got here. 15 years, year after year, I sent Roxy a letter and I asked her, let me be part of your program. The board finally decided to accept me as suitable and allowed me to come here because my commissioner on the board panel knows Roxy personally. And she said, very good choice. So here I am. The dream came together. I understood it. My mind is open. I've been clean this time 6 years, 4 months, and 27 days so far. My sobriety means everything to me, but my life means even more. Killing myself three times over drugs and then bring me back, you know, everything that I've gone through, all nonsense, stupid. 40 years in prison and jail and institutions and taking somebody's life, and now here I am looking back and saying, it only took me 3.5 years to mess my life up. And look at the price I had to pay for it. I'm fortunate, I'm blessed. And now that I'm completing my term here, this is the last time you guys are gonna see me, hopefully. But you know what, keep pushing. Don't let nothing stop you. Don't let nothing get you down. Don't let nothing get in your way of your recovery. And all it takes is for you to say no. Plain and simple. You don't need a relapse. Relapse is everywhere. There's countless books on it. We talk about it all the time. Why do we talk about relapse? Shit happens, it's real. The best people we know have died. Singers, musicians, you know, that's just reality. That's the world. That's the devil talking to you. We don't need it. Man, we could be so blessed. If each one of us applied ourselves that are in this room today, just think where we would all be in 10 years. So I thank you, Fred Brown. I thank you, Roxy. And I thank each and every one of you counselors and everybody that's serious about this. Because there's no better way. All those programs and everything that I did, they don't compare to this. Because here, you do the work. You take the time to do it right. And if you're real and sincere to yourself, you're gonna make it. As for me, I'm sure gonna try. All right, brothers and sisters.
Hi, I'm Summer. I'm an addict. I have 7 years, and by the grace of God, in September I'll have 8 years. I have a sponsor as a sponsor, and I am a sponsor. I've done my 12 steps in AA, and I'm doing my step work in NA, and it's true. Whatever you put into this program, that's what you're going to get back. And if you don't believe in miracles, do you know you're a miracle, man. You're a miracle. If you didn't feel that, you know, if you're thinking yourself, letting your disease tell you that that can't be me and I can't surrender and I can't, you know, have that kind of mindset, that's the disease, man. I just wanted to come up because I'm hearing about losses and all that stuff, you know, and I was insane in my addiction. I was insane, right? And 86, every bar here in Pedro, I'm a Pedro girl. This whole area is my stomping ground, right? So you can go back home, yeah, but you change. Nothing changes. Drugs kill you, right? The disease is real, but I change, you know? And I surrendered. I went to the Alumni Club, and I was of service. I was doing my 12th step, you know? And then I got my job at Fred Brown through the Alumni Club because I was just doing the Lord's work. That was it. I wanted to help others and get out of self and be selfless for once in my life, right? And now I'm here at Fred Brown. I went through all the, I've been through I think every single position almost at Fred Brown. And now I'm case manager. I get to help you guys, the addict that's coming behind me. I never thought that losing people wouldn't let me go back to that insanity. And in November 2024, my partner of 10 years, I had to leave him 2 years before that, and he died of alcoholism. He literally died right in front of my eyes. He was in ICU for 2 weeks. He was 48 years old. He was yellow like a Simpson character, and he had renal failure, and it says it on our death certificate. Whatever you die from this disease, it will say it on your death certificate. I don't say that to guilt you. I am saying that to tell you the reality of things, and that's it. A wise woman in this room told me that our 12 steps is evidence-based. It's evidence-based because we die with it and we don't die from it. We have that choice. We have that choice today. And sometimes people have to die in order for us to live. People said that in the rooms too, you know, and I thought that was disgusting till it happened. He was on the other side of the coin of me. That's what you have choices today. You have free will, right? I choose today to do God's will. I take the reins sometimes, and then I learn my lessons. Call my sponsor, and she'll say, oh, I think I said that to you, you know. And then I lost my son 6 months later after he died. My son was 18. He was running with a little crew in town, and he went against the biggest gang that's here, pulled out his gun, and shot that guy, and that guy shot him. They both died. On the same street, I had my son's baby shower because that's where my grandma had her house, you know, here in Pedro. I thought losing a kid for sure would take me out, you know. I thought that, had a whole plan, you know, do drugs and say they're gonna wheel me in and I'm gonna burn the world down. But I didn't do that. I focused more on my higher power. I turned my whole face and my faith into my higher power, and he carried me through that. That whole footprints, that's true. That's how I felt that moment. God got your butts here for a reason. You are deserving of another life. You're the ones who get in your way. You're the ones who start thinking you're unworthy of that stuff. And that's ingrained stuff, and we'll unpack that later. You know, you get a counselor, you get a therapist. I've tried everything. I went to therapy, everything. This program was the first thing that worked for me because I worked it, because I really did work it, and I continue to work it. You think I'm one and done? No, I'm almost gonna come up on 8 years. People got 40 years. We still go to meetings. We still read our literature. We call our sponsor. You know, we sit with us. We have a fellowship. There's things to do today to help us stray away from that first pickup. Stay in the herd. I got blocks. I'm in the herd, and I got blocks outside the herd, away from that first string and from that first pickup. My oldest son has schizoaffective. He's 22. He's gonna be 23. So it's like I have one child now out of 3, you know. And, you know, you can't control it. You can't control it. And if I try to control it, I'm gonna destroy myself. I'm gonna go insane again. And I don't wanna live there no more. I sold all the property up. I don't wanna go back to that. Right now I got property in reality. I got property, and it's not pretty. We're addicts, we're dramatic. We want everything to be perfect, you know? It's not gonna be perfect. We're not perfect. And people love us. In our imperfections, Nancy is a prime example. And in 19th Street, if you don't know that, this is her saying, you can F around and find out the bad way, which we have been for a long time, and to beat us up. Who's the winner there? Not me, you know. I'm the winner now because I surrendered. Or you can F around and find out the right way and the good way. And I wanted to do that. I wanted to find out what was on the other side and give myself a little patience. And I'm happy. Given all that stuff, I show up. I'm creating a life that brings me peace. I don't care about no cars. Y'all had cars. You had cars, you had money, you had guns, you had all this stuff, right? Did you have peace? Did you have serenity? Did you have happiness, true happiness down to your soul? Not since you're probably a kid. I mean, and some of us didn't even have that as kids. But you got that today. And if you didn't have these spiritual principles that lie underneath these steps, you have it today. I'm Christian, you know. My sins are to be cast into the ocean, never to be retrieved again. That's true. I make my amends. I try to live my life the way my boy wants me to. I hold my head up high because I know I don't do nobody wrong. And that's all I got. And I'm happy. It makes me so happy like that. So simple. It's a simple program. We just make it hard. And I want you to know, like, we love you. Fred Brown feels like a family. I heard that a few times tonight from some guys that came back. You guys are lucky you came back. We prayed for you to come back. Stay. Don't leave, and stay, and give yourself an opportunity to get this live. Because we're evident that it works. It does. And you are deserving of this. You are. Thank you.
All right, who's up next?
David.
David.
That's you, David.
Come on, David. Come on.
You have a call.
You got it. That's my little brother.
Too sure about what
That's my big brother.
we said earlier, David. Go ahead.
My name's David. I'm an addict. Kind of what Summer was alluding to about family. I was mentioning that just outside of break. I actually shared today at a group. So those who were in group with me, I apologize for the redundancy, but I went through the program not too long ago. You know, a lot of times we sit in these chairs when we're going through the program, and we got guys up here or girls that, you know, are veterans, you know, maybe 20 years down the line, 15, and it's hard to relate for some of us. I just went through it. Some of you guys, I was just in RBH, and, you know, you guys used to see me pull up, escorting right there to 270. So, I was one of those guys who went through the program like gangbusters. I went through it like if it was a college course. You know, I was, you know, we got our letters to do, we got everything to do, and I was, you know, I'd write my letter to whomever, and then I would do another draft. I didn't like it. I would do a third draft or fourth draft because I wanted it to be perfect. You know, I was doing it to impress somebody or a family before, and we hear this time and time again. I know, John, we were talking about, you know, some of the silly sayings they give us, and they're like, do it for yourself. They say, do it for yourself. Don't do it to get your child back. Don't do it for your sister, your mother, or an ex-wife. Don't do it to impress anybody else. Well, that's what I was doing. I went through the program, and everything I did, I was thinking this was going to help me when I get out. I was going to impress somebody, and yeah, that made me feel good. Look at me, I kicked ass on this and that. Apologize for cursing.
That's one.
And well, when I did that, when I got through and then got into RBH, and I was been explaining to you in RBH, I was doing everything. I went to work immediately. As soon as I was able to get you know, I didn't waste any time. I went to work right away, bought me a motorcycle right off the bat. You know, the guys that were with me, they're like, man, did you come in with that? No, I had zero when I got to RBH. But like I said, I was attacking it to impress others. So in since doing that, when that didn't fall through, when the person or people I was trying to impress, that fell through. That person didn't give a damn what I was doing. My world felt like it just came out from under me. All the work we did, all the letters, you know, the things that I thought I was gaining. Again, I was treating it like man, I was going through the steps, you guys, and I didn't do it for me. I didn't know how it felt to do it for me. I was doing it for somebody else, and I fell hard, man. I fell, my depression, I slipped very hard, and I almost walked away. You know, I tripped up, and as Summer was saying, you know, the family we got here. So the person that I failed to impress, all of a sudden I go, I don't have any family. You know, that's it. I'm done. You know, I came back from Arkansas to impress, came back from Arkansas to do this and that. It didn't work. So this trip up I had, I was sent to Long Beach, kind of in a program. I won't mention other programs, but it wasn't Fred Brown. man. It wasn't the love, the caring that we get at Fred Brown is just sometimes it's overwhelming to me. So when I was accepted back, I was coming back right now, which I'm just came into 270. There wasn't any angst, there wasn't any anxiety or shame. Everything, it was weird. I came back 270. You know, you're going through your intake and everything, and I just started seeing the familiar faces. And Summer, Nancy, Jesse, Scott, everybody, and there was just a man. I was like, look at it, and everybody, welcome back. There was nobody did this, nobody did. Oh, what happened to you? No, not one of those things. And that was overwhelming. I've been spending my time, the little in between time back at the house, just in awe of coming back home. So this time, I need to learn how to do it for myself. You know, I can sit and say, I'm doing this for me. I don't know how that's done yet. I really don't. And so I'm open to everything this time. I'm not gonna sit there and listen. I know what I'm doing. Don't worry, Nancy, I know what I'm doing. None of that, all that's dead. I'm gonna listen to when somebody says, hey, try to look in that mirror and love you, care about yourself. I don't know how to do that yet. I've done that a few times, and I've noticed that I look in the mirror and that's somebody who knows how to put together a complete sentence or recite the Declaration of Independence or something like that. And that's just going through motions. I don't know, or I'm going to know. I'm going to try to learn to love myself, care for myself, and hopefully do this for myself. And I thought I would share that with you guys, that think that it happens to somebody that's out there. I'm right here in the middle of you guys right now, and I just went through it, and I'm glad to be going through it with you guys again.
That was a perfect way to end our meeting. All right. Alfie, we need a couple of volunteers to help do the garbage and clean up. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Alfie, come on up and read just for today, please.
My name's Alfie Manatic. Do I sound like Boomhauer? I sound like Boomhauer. Anyway, my name's Alfie Manatic. Just for today, tell yourself, just for today, my thoughts will be on my recovery, living and enjoying life without the use of drugs. Sorry. Well, I know I can. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, just for today, I will have faith in someone in NA who believes in me and wants to help me in my recovery. Just for today, I will have a program. I will try to follow it to the best of my ability. Just for today, through NA, I will try to get a better perspective on my life. And just for today, I will be unafraid. My thoughts will be on my new associations. And you know what, I'm gonna tell you real quick, man, I've been scared all my goddamn life, man. And I'm finding that out big time right now. Just for today, I will be unafraid. My thoughts will be on my new associations. People who are not using and who have found a new way of life. So long as I follow that way, I have nothing to fear. Just for today.